Good morning, viewers. This is DDM Morning Show. Welcome to a new week. I am Toshku Raphael, joined by Ibrahim Umawasi. Ibrahim, welcome to a new week.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toshku Raphael. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Mr. Due Process, and good morning, Nigerians.
All right, today is Monday, August 18th, 2025. And we are pleased to give you a line of stories. First, beyond the ballot, what Nigeria's latest by-election reveals about voter trust, political shifts, and the road to 2027. Umahi declares, I could be Nigeria's president in 2039. And that is the second story we're going to talk about. And finally, Trump meets Zelensky, European leaders in Washington, agrees to security guarantees for Ukraine after Alaska deal with Putin. So let's take it away. Over the weekend, Nigerians went to the polls this weekend for by-elections in 16 constituencies across 13 states of the Federation. And the aim was to fill vacant legislative seats following deaths, resignations, and court-mandated vacancies. The exercise, which took place on Saturday, August 16th, showcased a fierce contest among the All Progressives Congress, APC, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, and the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP. Now, Anambra State, the All Progressives Grand Alliance claimed victory in both the Anambra South Senatorial and the Onitsha North State constituency by-elections. And this made it to consolidate its hold in the region. Now, in Edo State, the APC won both Edo Central Senatorial District seats, as well as Ovia Southwest and Ovia Southeast federal constituencies, marking significant gains for the party in the southern Nigeria. In Ogun State, APC candidate Adeshola Ayola Elewegi emerged victorious in the Ikene Shagamu Remo North Federal Constituency, securing 41,237 votes against PDP's 14,324 votes. And the final announcement was made by INEC early Sunday morning. In Oyo State, PDP's Folajimi Oyekunle won the Ibadan North Federal Constituency in a peaceful exercise, beating APC's candidate 18,404 to 8,312 votes, with low voter turnout reported. In Niger State, APC maintained its momentum with Matthew Dogara Daje winning the Munya State constituency by a margin of 6,000 votes. Jigawa State, of course, APC's clutch victory. APC's Mokhtar Rabiu emerged victorious in Baruba Gaki Federal Constituency, further reinforcing the party's dominance in the Northwest. In Kano State, NNPP claimed victory in Shanono, Bakwai, and Gari constituencies, hailing INEC and security operatives for a peaceful exercise, though PDP cited violence and intimidation. In states like Kaduna, Taraba, Kogi, Enugu, Zamfara, and others, the APC swept most constituencies except for a few isolated wins by PDP and local parties. Results in Kaduna's Chikun Gajuru Federal Constituency are still being collated, while Taraba and Zamfara saw moderate APC and PDP advances. Now, while some states like Oyo reported notably peaceful elections, others were marred by serious allegations. In Ogun State, for example, there were allegations and arrests related to vote buying. Police apprehended INEC officials carrying 2.5 million naira, purportedly intended for rigging. The PDP accused APC of unleashing thugs, chasing away voters in strongholds, and called the process an act of electoral fraud. In Kano State, security agencies reportedly arrested hundreds of thugs on election day. PDP challenged the legitimacy of results, citing ballot box snatching and voter intimidation. The African Democratic Congress and the other opposition groups have voiced concerns over widespread violence, administrative irregularities, and systematic corruption of the electoral process. For instance, a report by Ato Ezechukwu, a media expert, revealed the agitations of Don Amambo Donald Chidi, the ADC candidate for the Anambra South senatorial seat. According to the report, the ADC said that although INEC gave out tax for polling unit agents, it refused to release tax for ward and local government collation agents. Now, this made it impossible for the party to properly protect its votes at collation centers. In Ihiala, the reports continued. The situation was even worse. Reports showed that INEC shared a fake list of polling agents that was different from the original list ADC had submitted and uploaded on INEC's portal. Now, these problems were not mistakes, they said. They were acts of deliberate sabotage. Some polling units were nullified due to these incidents. Now, let me give a short summary of the whole thing. So overall, the APC, it is no longer new that the APC emerged as a dominant winner, sweeping most competitive constituencies, including Ogun, Edo, Niger, and Jigawa states. The PDP managed notable successes in Oyo and a few other seats, while APOGA reinforced its southeast stronghold with wins in Anambra. The NNPP showed regional might in Kano. Reports suggest IPC's national structure gave it an edge, while PDP's victories reflected grassroots engagement. Now, let's talk about this, guys. Mr. Due process. The election was the topmost thing that happened over the weekend, the by-elections. What's your take on the conduct or the practice of the by-elections conducted over the weekend?
Yes, good morning, viewers. The outcome of the election is a reflection of the unchanging attitude of INEC and the unrepentant attitude of the APC-led administration. Both parties have shown that they remain unchanged in the conduct of elections in Nigeria. Election ordinarily should be a scenario where new leaders emerge through transparent process. But what we have is like a do or die, where voters were induced with money to buy their conscience, and it went on and on and on across several states where this by-elections were conducted. So it justified the fact that the APC have successfully weaponized poverty in order to make the people very, very vulnerable to accepting 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 as bribe to sell their vote. And since this has worked out for the APC, they'll see it as a veritable tool to employ ahead of 2027. They will continue to unleash poverty on Nigerians such that at the polls, people will be left with no alternative than to vote for them. And I saw a viral video where the deputy national chairman of the APC was caught carrying a beaver's machine and a ballot box in faraway Adamawa State. How the ballot box got to hand of the political party deputy national chairman, which is APC. It all went on to indict the INEC that they have never been free, they have never been fair, they remain a very biased umpire, and the Nigerians should not trust INEC in conducting any credible election come 2027. And I want to commend the Kano State voters who stood their ground. They did not only vote, but they ensured that every form of malpractice that was being introduced by the APC-led party executive were squashed. So I want to commend the Kwankwasia movement. They've tried. They've done excellently well by curtailing any form of vote buying. And they nip it in the bud, unlike some of our people from the southeast that were coming and shouting that vote buying, vote this, vote that. It's about organization, it's about commitment, it's about risking it all, right? The deed has been done. Many people were seen selling and buying votes. What was the task of the officials, the party officials at the poll? Their duty is to disrupt any form of vote buying. Why did they stand watch and allow that to happen? And several parties were also indicted in this vote buying. APGA was involved in vote buying in Anambra. APC was also involved in vote buying. So I guess the highest bidder got the day. And it's not healthy. This is not democracy. This is robbery, right? So this is not what one can best describe as votes, election. And I want to also see the faults of the Nigerian people. Many Nigerians have given up on anything that has to do with election in Nigeria, especially when it is not a general election or a presidential election. They feel it's a waste of time. And when there is massive voter apathy, like it was witnessed, of course, the manipulators will have easy way to buy the few available voters. But if the number were in mass, let's say for instance, in a polling unit there are over 500 on the register, but in actual voting day, recording 30, recording 50 is uncalled for. So it shows that the Nigerian people are not committed, they are not civic enough. They don't perform their civic responsibility. But if you call for Sunday service, all of them will gather. If you call for Friday prayers, Jumat, everywhere will be filled up to the brim. What are you praying for that ordinarily your government should be able to provide? But your ability to be able to bring about good governance, you fail, right? That's why you see when Nigerians travel abroad, they find it difficult to pray because all that are from their parts, their psyche of prayer points in Nigeria, when they get there, they don't see need to pray for it because it's already there due to the Europeans or their host countries being able to fight governance, bringing about a government that listens to the yearnings of the people. In Nigeria, our number one problem is bad government. And bad government cannot be eroded by mere wishes, by mere prayers. If you pray from now to the next 100 years, nothing is going to change the hearts, the minds of these Nigerian rulers who call themselves leaders. They are already positioning their children to continue. Look at the lavish lifestyle that the son of UK is living in UK, for instance, with the mistress. You see, these are people that are already in position to take over from wherever they stop. Yet, you and I, we are just sitting naive, you know. So that is a sad day. The sad day, the only victory that I see in this election is the Kano State situation, where they're able to hold sway and ensure that there was no any form of rigging. And then, as well as Ibadan, Oyo State, where they held a very peaceful, a relatively peaceful election. And so far, there is no any form of ransom from that regard. But every other election that took place, just a massive vote buying. I don't understand the justification why any sane Nigerian at this point will give APC a vote. I find it difficult to understand it. On what parameters? Take for instance in Niger State, Munya, where APC was reported to have won, right? And if you look at that particular local government, this local government where there is no peace, they continue to run away from terrorists, even as I speak to you. So I wonder how, on what parameters, the same people will gather and say the present administration should continue. Yeah, just use that as an example. And it goes on and on and on and on. It's a reflection of the entire country situation. So poverty is a huge factor. It's a huge decider in what's happened at the poll. And I want to use the opportunity to actually bring it to the notice of the opposition that for you to achieve any meaningful result at the poll, you need to re-strategize. The template of 2023 is not going to work for 2027 because the same people that are in 2023 have been more emboldened with power and more resources to do the worst, right? So there is need to go back to the drawing board and re-strategize, reorganize, and come back with a more heavier approaches than they are already applying on us. Because for you to win in this type of game, you must come with a more devastating, a more pragmatic approaches that will be able to, dispel whatever arrangement they are making ahead of 2027. Imagine having submitted list of agents and another list presented entirely from what you submitted. List. Can you confirm to hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, imagine a political party submitted agent list and another list entirely being presented as agents. This is a fraud. And who commits the fraud? Of course, it's INEC, right? INEC needs to be sued to court. That is if we actually have a court that will grant justice. These are some of the things we are looking at. And I expect that the political party agents should have disrupted whatever arrangements they had in place to conduct the election. When the election is not found to be free, fair, credible, or is not set to provide a credible outcome, you disrupt it. Right? I've always given an example how myself and my team who went to conduct election at the poll were held hostage for 3 days on grounds that we did not provide the original result sheet, which was in our report. Our SPO said we should go ahead, that she was going to provide it, under the pretext that they would write the result at the office while we are busy wasting our time at the poll. Right? But the APC guys, they knew what was going to happen and they stopped it. What stopped the Nigerian people from holding or arresting the electoral officials, right, in their polling units, ensuring that everything is done smoothly before they are allowed to go? I heard there are reports where elections were not uploaded directly from the polling unit. Why should that come up again? Why should that resurface? Until the Nigerian people are willing and ready to rescue themselves, I don't see this ending. There has to be change of approach. That's my summation. Thank you.
But how do we solve the problem of vote buying? Because it seems to be most predominant in this election.
My brother, I've said it. I
Okay.
said it in my presentation. The best way to stop vote buying, you cannot stop who is providing the money, right? But you can stop who is to share the money. Disruption. You disrupt the process. Whoever is seen sharing money should be chased down and be arrested. If you want to arrest, you arrest them. If you want to chase them away, you chase them. Whatever you want to do, do it. Just ensure that there is no possibility of exchanging money at the poll. That's all. Because money buy votes at the polls. Money have no use. Why bringing in millions of naira to the poll? That's what happened at Kano. They stopped all forms of vote buying. Why can't Nigerians in generality stop vote buying? Then there is this Peter Obi influence. Average Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians, feel that if Peter Obi is not on the ballot, it's needless going to the poll, right? And that is what has translated to the voter apathy that we had. If there are many people at the polling unit, vote buying will be difficult. But if there are few, it becomes easy.
Yes, I was going to ask you about Peter Obi's influence because the APC made a statement, and even the governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, also made a statement yesterday saying that the LP and the ADC had no influence or do not exist in Anambra State. And he was, indirectly taking a swipe at the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. So ADC had 0% in that election, and as well as LP. Now, would you say that these by-elections or the outcome of by-elections have any bearing on the coming election in 2027? for the ADC and the LP? And what would you advise those people whose spirits have been dampened by the fact that the ADC did not get 1% in this election? What would you advise them, especially in the obedient movement?
Yes, it's very clear. The people are disgruntled, are discouraged about anything that has to do with election. That's what leads to voter apathy. Besides, before now, Nigerians normally don't attend to these by-elections or off-cycle. They don't really take it serious, right? Then, coupled with the fact that the mandate was stolen in 2023, people feel, why should I go and waste my time when the same Mahmoud is still the INEC chairman, right? So the movement have a huge role to play in resensitization. There is no time to wait. The people must hit the street to resensitize, re-energize, refuel the grassroots to come back alive. And the time to start was yesterday, right? If we don't do this, and we don't get to wake up the grassroots, there will be no difference from 2027. There have to be re-energizing of the grassroots. And there have to be communication. There have to be constant communication. There have to be relationship. These are things that lead to bonding. And when there is that bond, the people will have trust that they can go with you. So, in terms of Mr. Peter being influenced, no doubt about it. Anytime, any day, he has the grassroots credibility. He may have campaigned for a candidate, but the same people he's campaigning to, we feel we only came out to participate in the campaign because you are involved, right? But on the ballot, you are not the one there. So why should I go the next day to go and cast my vote? These are things that cross the mind of so many people. They feel, another mistake that the average Nigerians are doing is that they want to equate every politician to the standard of Mr. P2B, which is very difficult, right? It's very difficult in the history of this country, including those that have passed away and those that are alive, and possibility of those that will come, including myself. There can never be anyone like Mr. P2B. I find it very difficult to believe in the next 100 years if we will ever produce someone like Mr. P2B. And people want to equate all politicians to be like Mr. P2B before they go out to vote for him or her. So that's the problem. If I bet you what happened, whatever, during this off-cycle election, if it is were to be Mr. P2B faces on the ballot box, it's a different ballgame entirely. But because he's not involved directly, he's only campaigning for a candidate, people feel, yes, I'm your fan, I want you to be there as my president, but you are not the one on the ballot. I didn't mean on the ballot, you see people be effects. And again, coupled with the fact that those that roll on the back of Mr. P2B in the Labour Party, who are now in the House of Rep, who are in the Senate, they've not shown us any reason. They've not given us any iota of confidence that, yes, they are different from those that are here. For instance, there is no difference between the Labour Party candidates in the National Assembly and those of the APC, because they all stood to sing for sang for our mandate. I mean, your mandate we shall stand. You know, they all collected the SUVs. So these are the things. The Nigerian people are here to see the difference. So why should I now do the same mistake, right? Trying to canvass for candidates presented by Mr. P2B when it's not Mr. P2B himself. That's the mistake the Nigerian people are making, forgetting that we need to repeat this process over and over to achieve this a credible outcome. As far as they are not yielding to what we expect, we'll continue to change them. The electricity that we are enjoying today was tried 99 times before they achieved the results. What stopped Nigerians from trying several until they achieve the result? Then I want to also encourage, I understand that the movement is already recruiting young Nigerians that will show interest in aspiring for political office. Yes, it's a welcome development. In 2022, we championed Mr. P2B and Mr. P2B alone. and any other person who just voted massively from top to bottom and stuff like that. But if these guys are able to be vetted and plans and programs that will be implemented when they emerge in the office are being documented and they sign agreement to it, there have to be documentation, signing of agreement of what they will do for their community. Then the people can now have either of trust to actually go with anybody that is presented by Mr. Peter. But without this being done, if it is just mere endorsement and you expect the people to float around, I don't see that happening.
Okay. Now, what I understand from what you are saying is that personality
I don't know if I can comment.
is playing it. Okay, Mr. Kevin.
Yes, let me just quickly comment because I said let me hold myself back, but my observation for about the elections that just took place, it seems as if our politicians have now become very daring. Okay, you want to still vote in broad daylight. You don't even care whether the cameras are there anymore. The fact, what even shocked people the most in this election is the fact that the populace is now ready to, they don't even hide it anymore. They are not, they are the ones who are even asking, how much did you bring? Hey, the APC is bringing 10,000. We will like you. How much do you have? It's that bad. I think it has been formally institutionalized, this vote buying issue. The most important thing right now for the Nigerian polity is to go into rigorous electoral reforms. If they don't, this particular government, which we know is criminalistic, will allow this thing to fester and use it as a tool in the next election and feel themselves in power again. And there will be nothing we can do about it. Electoral reforms should be at the fore right now, because if we don't do it, then there's no need doing any elections anymore. We're not getting credible candidates from the electoral process anymore. We're just getting candidates who have gone there to like they do in the university, block your way through to get your results. This one, you block your way through to get yourself into office. Okay? This is the highest bidder that wins the election now. Finished. Simply put, it's that bad. The government will not do it. Everything still falls back to the people, but the people themselves are not ready to do it. They are the ones that are even, you see, the poverty is so bad that they are the ones who will be telling you, look, how much do you have? Okay? Asking how much do you have? Understand? It's that bad. I don't know how we're going to do it, but it seems as if the democracy we are doing, it will not work, or it's not working unless we go into what they call electoral reforms. Okay? So that's the sad truth about what happened on Saturday. Vote buying has been institutionalized. Okay, why? Because of the poverty that is taking place. It has not brought myself back to what Joseph Stalin did. People remember what he did when they say he brought a hen or whatever and started plucking all the feathers out, plucking all the feathers from the hen out, threw the hen away, then brought corn from his pockets and dropped the corn on the ground. And still, with all the blood gushing out from those feathers that were plucked out, the hen still came to eat the corn. They were so impoverished Nigerians to the extent that even if you give them pittance, 5,000 naira or 3,000 naira, they will vote for you. They won't vote for the credible candidates. Democracy is not going to work like this, and it will not work. If there's no electoral reform, what's happened right now on Saturday is just child play. And ABC is singing up and down. The president is giving accolades that ABC has done well. Whereas we know that vote buying was the main thing that took place. We saw the PDP agent on Saturday that took the court with 29.5 million naira in his booth, going to buy votes. What did PDP do the next day? PDP said the money he had was for the 5,000 polling unit agents in the various polling units. Is that how they pay polling unit agents? If you want to pay polling unit agents, you send the money straight into their account. You don't carry it in your boots. He was definitely going to buy votes with 29.5 million naira. It's that bad. God help us in this country.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Ibrahim.
All right, Mr. Tuchukurafel. I think the place I'm going to come is different from what Mr. Kevin and Mr. Due Process highlighted. I believe the fundamental problem, the crux of the problem in Nigerian politics is that of realists and idealists. The realists are trying to look at election the way it is, and the idealists are looking at politics the way it should be. While politics is played in the realm of realism, not idealism. So most of Nigerians are mixing these two, thinking that politics is supposed to be played right. And the definition of right varies depending on who you ask. And politicians, regardless of what you bring on the floor, they will try to explore the shortfalls, the loopholes on that very plan you bring. For example, we are talking about, we're clamoring for electoral reform. I want to find a definition of electoral reform that will convince me that it will bring a lasting change in Nigerian democracy. And I couldn't hear one up to today, because most of the plans I had are either impractical or things that are going to be exploited by the brains in politics. Definitely. There are strategies in politics that once they see this thing, they will see a lot of loopholes that they can explore. So what is the solution then? For me, the solution is simple. The people, they are the solution. I don't fall under this school of thoughts, pessimist school of thoughts, that always the government is the problem. I agree that there are electoral manipulation in Nigeria going here and there. But the reality is the people doesn't have a firm stand. What we are clamoring for is just, I think, for the sake of the media click and so on and so forth. We don't mean what we're saying. If you're going to give up on the ideal you trust, for example, if they shot you in a desert, will you lie there and die? No. Like, it is inherent in human, that flicker of defiance. Once something is about to finish you and you value your life, you will keep on going on to the last drop of blood in you. So definitely that signifies that the people are not serious in what they are clamoring for. That's the reality. And I'll give you an example with 2015 election. During the course of 2015 election, a vast majority of Nigerians, most especially the people in the northern part of the country, betted blood, not just support, betted blood for Muhammadu Buhari. I was one of them, clearly. And there is no money you can use to buy these people at that point in time, because they know what this stands for. But once the people are having doubt, then it is easy for the people to come and buy their vote or something like that. So I think we should channel our energy on sensitizing the people, on telling them the importance of the vote. You can't say because we are poor, so we choose to die, we choose to destroy the future of the country because of that poverty. I know the number of stupid people, I'm sorry for using that word, is astronomical compared to the number of people who knows what they are doing. But that should not be an excuse. Politics is, was, and will always be an emotional investment. Invest in the emotion of the people positively, and you will see the results. And second thing that I want to address is that fact that it is only Peter Obi that we are going to vote for. Peter Obi is not going to work alone. If you vote for Peter Obi alone and most of his cabinet happens to be from other parties, there will be sabotage. And we are living in a democratic country. So definitely this, what are they calling them, parliament, will sabotage his efforts in trying to make anything to the people. So that idea that it is only him we are voting for also expose the crack in our knowledge of how politics work generally. if you want to vote for Peter Obi and you expect Peter Obi to be like God and work for you while you don't vote for any other person to support him, then we are jokers in the country. Even he himself say it time and again that vote for me and the people that will help me work. Like, I don't understand Nigerians. It seems like everything is just like cruise to us. We just go on social media space because of the media traction, that the way people treat us, and we'll just be clamoring for things we don't necessarily believe in. That's what I'm seeing, actually. Because if you just, for example, Governor of Anambra State is the home ground, the main stronghold of Peter Obi. The governor of Anambra State have the audacity to come out and say ADC and the Labour Party, the parties of Peter Obi, has nothing to do in Anambra State. They don't have structure. And the people of Anambra State will just look at him without punishing him while they want to vote for Peter Obi. This is a joke. Honestly speaking, that's a joke. So my point is the first stage of solving a problem is accepting that there is one. And the problem for me is mostly on the people. Look at 2023 election. I mean, in Lagos, the state of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In Plateau State, the state of the deeds of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nasarawa State, the state of the National Party chairman of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And Abuja, the state, not the state, should I say, where the president and an APC person at the time, they all lost the states. So we can't be serious if we're still buying to that idea that if there is no electoral reform, nothing is going to change. I don't fall under this school of thought. We should do the right thing, and we'll see the results, definitely. We should stop pretending that we...
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Your words are always incisive and enlightening. Okay, let's take our second story. Nigeria's Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has publicly declared his possibility of becoming Nigeria's president in the year 2039. Speaking during a recent meeting at his country home in Ebonyi State, Umahi indicated that while the Southeast region is unlikely to produce a president in the near future, the political landscape might open up by 2039, giving him and his zone a chance to ascend to the nation's highest office.
If when the presidency will come to Southeast, I should be at the forefront because of my performance. And I've asked for debate. Anybody that feels otherwise, I created something out of this Ebonyi State.
Umahi stated that considering the current zoning arrangements within the ruling All Progressives Congress, Nigeria's presidency will likely stay in the northern region until 2031, with the Southwest possibly holding the position until 2039, after which the Southeast could be poised to produce a president. Reflecting his long-held ambition, Umahi hinted that who knows whether that time it will be me, acknowledging the role of divine timing in political success. The minister, 63 years old as of 2025, is the first person from the Southeast to hold the crucial Federal Ministry of Works portfolio. He previously contested for the APC's presidential ticket in 2023, but was unsuccessful. Umahi has maintained a consistent political presence, including serving 2 terms as governor of Ebonyi State and defecting from the People's Democratic Party to APC due to dissatisfaction with zoning arrangements in his former party. All right, this is a case of, some would say, yes, by 2039, the Southeast reserves the exclusive right to hold the highest office in the land. What do you think, Mr. Due Process?
I don't even want to comment about that matter. It's demoralizing. I mean, why should I comment on this kind of matter?
But do you think, but do you justified and on the basis of fairness, in terms of equality, because Nigeria is a multi-ethnic society, so, and there is a principle of zoning entrenched in the Nigerian society. So do you think by 2039, the Southeast should be given this opportunity to rule Nigeria?
The question you should ask yourself, will there be Nigeria in 2039 with the way we are going? Will there be Nigeria?
Well,
will there be Nigeria? To me, Nigeria depends on the justice that will happen in 2027. Anything after that, I don't know. Because David Umahi should cover his face in shame as a Minister of Works. What has he done? The contract of Lagos Calabar, even though Nigerians were against it, they still went ahead to implement it. And at the end of the day, having approved the contracts, how many in execution in real time was done? 30 kilometers out of 700. And it has been unveiled. The same person is coming by want to be president in 2039. I'm not born to be a slave for life. By 2029, how many, all of us here, how old are we going to be? You know, when you need to work out some of these things, it's not possible. It's not possible. I cannot convince myself to still hold on to the same spirit of a new Nigeria by 2039. I don't see that happening because the Nigerian situation is exhausting, is draining our energy per second. So you can aspire for whatever you want to aspire for, and Nigerians, on the other hand, will one day trigger the bullets because we are all sitting on a keg of gunpowder, which will trigger any moment. The only hope I see Nigerians still trying to wait for, if actually Nigerians actually wait for it, is 2027. Anything beyond 2027, my hands are off. If we cannot get it right, that's my submission. I don't have anything to say about David Umahi. I have no business with him.
All right, Mr. Due Process. Mr. Ibrahim, what is your take on this?
All right. Thank you for having me once again, Mr. Dochukwurafel. I don't believe in what they call that tribal cards, playing tribal cards in politics. I don't believe that any tribe in Nigeria have the inherent rights to govern Nigeria because we have more than 200, at least 2,000 different tribes in Nigeria. If we say the Hausas, the Igbos, we divide the country based on the three major tribes, the Hausa, the Igbo, and the Yoruba. Then what about the interests of the minority? I belong to the minority. I'm neither Hausa, no Igbo, no Yoruba, no Fulani. Then are you saying that I don't have any rights to govern the country again? So that's part of the problem that we're having in Nigeria. This clashing selfish interests between the three major tribes in the country. It has metamorphosed into a full-blown out jealousy and war among themselves. If it comes to the northern part of Nigeria, the Hausas who happen to be the majority will hijack it, while there are a lot of tribes in the northern part of Nigeria to the detriment of them. And if you went to the southern part of Nigeria, either Igbos or Yorubas will hijack it. And that's part of the problem. Justice doesn't have halfway. For me, I dream of a Nigeria whereby everyone have equal right and equal opportunity, regardless of the God he served, regardless of the name he called himself, and regardless of the gender identity he preferred to choose. I am clearly a liberal in that aspect, and I believe in competence, character, and capacity rather than someone's affiliation or reservation. You have the right to believe in what you want to believe, but governing Nigeria should go through the lenses and the parameters of competence, capacity, compassion, all these C's. I don't believe that in 2039, the Southeast should have the inherent rights to govern Nigeria. I believe in the principle of equity in the country, but the equity should not go by tribal name. It should go by at least, let's say, north-south, not particular tribe. Because in the south, clearly, there are a lot of tribes, not just Igbos and Yorubas. Why are we marginalizing them? In the north, clearly, there are a lot of tribes, not just Hausa and Fulani. Why are we marginalizing them? That's the biggest question. And if a statesman like Umahi will have the audacity to come out and say this type of bullshit, it further shows the level of decay that the country has reached. We should start advocating for justice, and justice doesn't have a halfway. That's my view.
Or would you say, would you advocate for the disbandment of the current structure of rotational presidency or rotational leadership? Because that is basically what you have talked against now.
No, I am not talking against rotational presidency, or maybe even in our institution, there is federal character, whereby the people who are majority will not dominate the minority, right? But look at my analogy. For example, we have the Hausas, and the Hausas have systematically and strategically marginalized every other tribe in the north. Everybody is seeing Hausas as, everybody in the north as Hausa, right? So they clearly have dominance in the Nigerian political space. And that's why we have a rotational presidency, right? But we have 6 geopolitical zones, and the Hausas occupy only one zone, that's the northwest. So if you go to southern part of Nigeria, there are 3 geopolitical zones also, the southwest and the southeast. And clearly the Igbos dominate the southeast, the Yorubas dominate the southwest, right? But the south-south is dominated by multiple tribes. So if we're advocating for Yoruba or Igbo presidency in the southern part of Nigeria, when the rotation went back to the southern part of Nigeria, we are indirectly advocating for injustice, because they are not the only tribe in southern part of Nigeria, right? And it is the same thing that happens in northern part of Nigeria, that once the power shifts to northern part of Nigeria, the Hausa people hijacks it. I am for justice everywhere. So, and I don't believe that we should be naively following that same train, that if it goes to the southern part of Nigeria, it should be Yoruba man, and it must be Yoruba man today, and tomorrow it will be an Igbo man. What about the minority? Are they lesser Nigerians than the Igbos and the Yorubas? No. So if you go to northern part of Nigeria, are the remaining tribes are lesser Nigerians than the Hausas and the Fulanis? No. So if you want us to go like that, then clearly northern part of Nigeria will keep on dominating, because the idea that justice have a name or justice have a tribe is the thing that most of these politicians in the north are using to keep on exploiting. Because you know, if it goes to southern part of Nigeria, maybe the Yorubas, because of their strategic, should I say, advantage over the Igbos, that northern part of people of the north like them more than the way they like Igbos, they will vote for them. They will never allow the people of the southeast to even contest. And in the first place, the people of the southeast will not even contest, because they know they stand no chance. And the people of Niger Delta will not even come out, right? So this is injustice, and we should destroy that idea from a particular tribe governing in the country. Let the power shift, rotation of power strictly stands like regional, north, south. These are the 2 protectorates that were amalgamated by God, not Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. It was southern protectorate and northern protectorate. That's my stand.
Well, you are taking us back to history, 1914, when Frederick Lugard merged both territories together. All right, what you have said has made some sense, of course, but we must take our last topic because of time. Former US President Donald Trump is said to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky along with top European leaders in Washington, D.C. on Monday today. This high-profile gathering follows Trump's recent summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, which ended without a conclusive peace agreement to end the war in Ukraine. On August 15, 2025, Trump met Putin in Anchorage, Alaska, where the 2 leaders engaged in lengthy talks about the conflict. Reports indicate that Putin offered a plan, including frozen battle lines and the written security guarantees not to invade Ukraine again, conditional on Kyiv surrendering control of the Donbas region. Trump described the discussions as making headway, although no formal agreement was reached. The proposal suggested territorial swaps, but details remained vague, and Ukraine expressed resistance to ceding territory without a ceasefire. And following the Alaska meeting, Trump invited Zelensky to Washington to discuss potential security guarantees for Ukraine and explore paths toward ending the war. Zelensky expressed support for a trilateral meeting, including the US, Ukraine, and Russia, to address core issues such as peace terms, security assurances, and territorial disputes. Zelensky will be accompanied by top European leaders, including German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, French President Emmanuel Macron, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Finnish President Alexander Stubb, and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. These leaders are convening to reinforce support for Ukraine, maintain sanctions, pressure on Russia, and prevent any concessions that may undermine Ukraine's sovereignty. All right, Mr. Due Process. Some will say that the meeting between Trump and Vladimir Putin yielded some fruit, although it is still tight. Putin requested that, of course, he has agreed to a security guarantees for Ukraine, which will be provided by the US, on the condition that Ukraine cedes all the territory, the whole territories of Donbas region. Do you think there will still be much progress made in the future?
The situation in Ukraine, the peace talk, well, I hope with this delegation that are coming on board. The truth of the matter is, in every negotiation, if there is seeming iota of justice, there is bound to be agreements. But if there is no justifiable ground, agreeable ground, it will still come out in deadlock. Because expecting a country to cede a swampland full of mineral resources is something that I don't see any meaningful leader doing. You know, the US President Donald Trump is trying assiduously to ensure that he wins the minds of the world in terms of Nobel Peace Prize award. And he's trying heavily to see to the completion of this mission, bringing these two warring countries to a talking terms and a peace deal, which is commendable. But then the grounds of bringing about this peace should be looked into. Just if ceding that swap land, the Donbas region, is the only condition for ending that war, I don't see that happening. That's my submission. I only hope that they can all shift grounds. And already from the delegation that are joining Zelensky to the meeting, you could see that he's already allies of NATO that are accompanying to that meeting, and you know what NATO stands for, and you know the position of Putin to NATO. So it's like they're already telling Zelensky that don't worry, we are right behind you, we'll follow you to the meeting and nothing will happen. And what do you expect Putin to do? So yeah, I think it's just a beginning of this negotiation. I don't see that negotiation bringing about peace deal. And
well, thank you very much, Mr. Due Process.
I also see a ceasefire happening.
Let me quickly talk about the Russia-Ukraine and debacle. So Russia, Trump right now is trying to force Ukraine to make a deal with Russia by ceding almost 20% of its territory. Beyond Crimea, which was taken in 2014, Russia wants Donbass, a larger chunk of the Ukraine territory, which has been taken. And it seems as if at the front lines, the Ukraine military is flailing. Okay, since Trump came in, there's been lower support for Ukraine, so things doesn't seem to be going on well with them. In fact, if Putin should they allow Putin to go ahead, he may even ask for almost the entire half of the whole remaining country. So the Ukraine doesn't want that. Okay, I think that whatever Trump is trying to do, Putin is trying to do is acting greedy. Okay, you started this war. Now you want you started this war. You on your own went into a particular country and took a particular region of the country. Now you've started the war of the country, and now you want almost half of the country. Then he said, if they can give you that part of the country, then there will be peace. Okay, which Ukraine doesn't want to have anything to do. I think it's not fair, and to me personally, it's not fair looking at the side of Trump. Okay, it's like he's meeting with Trump in Alaska. It's almost side with Trump. Meeting with Putin in Alaska is almost side with Putin in taking away these territories. And right now, as I'm speaking to you, yes, the meeting is going to take place today. Unlike the last time when Zelensky went to the White House alone and it was humiliated by Trump. People remember what happened in the White House when they even said he shouldn't have won that close the war to the White House. They have even issued a statement yesterday that Zelensky should wear a suit while coming to the White House. That he should wear a suit. You shouldn't imagine a wartime president. You are telling him to dress well if you come to see you when he has a lot of problem at home. Even Winston Churchill, when they were at war with then Nazi Germany, when he went to the U.S. When he went to the U.S. White House to see FDR or I think the president there or Eisenhower, so I don't know. He didn't. He wore almost ragtag clothes, and you're criticizing Zelensky for doing that. Now, the European Union leaders, mostly their presidents and their prime ministers, have decided to accompany Zelensky this time to go to White House. So I was looking forward to the drama by this evening, when it will be at least noon or so in the US, to see what will happen. They are following him to the White House this time in solidarity to meet Trump, because they don't want him to be humiliated like the last time. Okay? By doing that, they also don't want what Trump is doing by being on the side of Putin, instilling almost 20 or 30% of the Ukrainian territory to Trump. Okay, so that's the basic thing. Me personally, my own opinion is this: I think Trump is just cowering to Putin. Putin, to most Americans, they feel Putin is playing Trump like he's his toy boy or like his tool. Okay. In fact, after the summit in Alaska, it was such a disaster. The US media completely humiliated Trump and said, "Look, Putin just came to Alaska to have fun." He even wrote on the US presidential motorcade, he beast. It was like a show of shame. It was like he just came to mock him completely. There was nothing that came. Trump was expecting a deal. Trump was basically expecting a deal that he was going to end the war during that summit, and it was a complete disaster. Nothing came out of it. Okay.
So thank you very much.
So that's what I feel is the issue. Thank you.
All right. One thing I love in what you just said, you pointed out something that was remarkable in that visit, because President Trump welcomed or gave Mr. Putin a welcome, a very grand and would I say an unprecedented, something that he did not give his counterpart in Ukraine, he gave to another person. So one would say that Trump was not at all fair in what he did. At the military base in Alaska, we saw what happened, how Trump welcomed President Putin, gave a notably grand and warm welcome to Russian President Vladimir Putin. When Putin arrived, he stepped off and there was a large red carpet spread on the ground. So I think it is something to point out. But let me hear your thought, Mr. Ibrahim. What do you think about today's meeting in relation to what happened on Friday between President Trump and Mr. Putin?
All right. What I am most interested in the previous meeting in Alaska was, Donald Trump will always be Trump. He flew 2 B-2 steel bombers ahead of Vladimir Putin to send a clear message to him that we are United States of America and we are strong. Don't mess with us. You get? So I am just seeing Trump as someone who basically like power, and he envies those who have absolute power. He's a fascist in a democratic state. So the people that have absolute power in other countries, he likes them. It is no coincidence that he like and say word of praises about Xi Jinping of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and Vladimir Putin of Russia. He likes and envies their power. And to some extent, I believe Donald Trump wants to be like them. So this is Trump being. And with regards to ceding their own land, Crimea, Donbass, Donetsk, and most of this part of northern part of Ukraine, I think it will be a very, very hard thing to do. But my biggest question is, why are European leaders so interested in what is happening there? That's my biggest question. Clearly, most of the European countries show their alliance with Ukraine, and they give them weapons and so on and so forth to fight the Russian aggression. Clearly, Russia is the aggressor in this war. But the European nations were the one who instigated the war in the first place by playing a dirty game behind the scene. And if you ask me, I would say I like should I say, the arrogant and blunt truths of a fascist than, should I say, the compassionate lure of a narcissist. And the Europeans are narcissists, clearly. Their strategy towards approaching things, they tend to be that kind of loving people, but once you didn't second to what they want, they bomb the hell out of you, do the most atrocious things to you unapologetically, and do it brazenly in the daylight. So Vladimir Putin is the one that is at the better fit to face people like that, warmongers like that. And that's why I don't like what he stands for, but I like his strengths. I like the fact that there are people that will met them just right next door. They know for a fact that they stand no chance to fight Russia alone. The European countries, the whole of the European countries will crumble, will fail if they dare fight Russia, because Russia has the largest nuclear stockpile in the whole world, and they dare not to try Russia. So that's the reality on ground. We're talking about ceding their own land, but it might be bigger. So when you come to a negotiation table, you know that you must make some concessions. So the size of the concession is all that matters. Even Vladimir Putin from his own side must do concessions. So what concession? We are looking at peace. The world peace, not only peace for Ukraine and Russia alone, because this war might spiral and evolve to total world war, and every human on earth will pay for it. And clearly, if just 20% of Ukraine will bring the everlasting solution, I go for it, and I support Trump in that. This is the best way, because they don't have the cards, and they are playing a very, very dangerous game with millions of lives in the world.
All right, you don't have the cards. I hope you don't play with World War III. These were the exact words that Donald Trump made towards Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. I hope that this time it will be a different ballgame, because European leaders would be he will be flanked by European leaders. So we are going to see, or we are hoping to see, a more decent and civilized conversation among these leaders. All right, this is where we draw the curtain short on today's DDM Morning Show. If you love this show, do not hesitate to hit the like button, make your comments on the topics we have discussed, and then share the link to everyone, all and sundry, because we are bringing you every day fresh, interesting, and incisive conversations. I'm Toshku Raphael with Ibrahim Umar Wase. See you tomorrow for another exciting edition. Bye-bye.